So I just played Battlefield 1, and now comparing it with the Neo games, as you guys may know, honestly, it is the peak of this franchise. Comparing this to the Neo games is like comparing what fucking Red Dead 2 to GTA 5. As you all know, Red Dead 2 and GTA 5 are very similar, but we know one of them is way better than the other. Anyway, before DICE made these tragedies, DICE actually made a pretty solid World War One game, and I don't know if it's just me, but these graphics still look fucking amazing. I mean, this game is 5 years old now. Like, that's insane. These graphics look so good. So anyway, I decided I would talk about all the things that Battlefield 1 did right, and what made it work, and how DICE, in my opinion, made one of the best World War One games to this day. I wanna preface this video by saying that I'm mostly gonna be focusing on the campaign in the series, as at the moment the multiplayer is kind of dead because of the newer games, even though this game is clearly like the better ones. Anyway, I'm probably gonna be doing one more story per video because they don't really relate to each other. So let's start, guys. So, first off, I want to talk about the atmosphere in this game. Straight away, what this game does right that the other games don't is having a good atmosphere. I mean, from the very first shot these stories show, I feel immersed. I like how at the start of each story you get shown what the lives of the characters were before the war, and how this could have happened to almost anyone. It just makes me like these characters a lot more, even though their time on screen is pretty short. I like how you can't just walk into a room in these stories and kill 50 people and walk out. Because if you do that in this game, do you want to know what's going to happen? You're going to fucking die, you're going to look like a moron, and get some people on Twitter making fun of you because you're so shit at Battlefield. I think I just said fucking way too many times. I'm sorry. Anyway, this just makes the game feel more grounded and realistic. It just helps me get immersed into the game and actually care about what's happening. I like how DICE juxtaposes the life of characters before the war and on the battlefield. This really makes you see how this could have happened to almost anyone. Once you're on the battlefield, you get shown a dark and gritty world with dead bodies surrounding you, trench lines covered in blood and mud. It just feels so fucking realistic, and straight away I get immersed into the story. It's not like COD where you have to kill an important character at the start of the story to get the audience immersed, because that is so overused in these games, and honestly, just at this point, it's just boring to me. And I really appreciate DICE taking a fresh take on this campaign. And I honestly think this is one of the main reasons this game works. It's engaging and realistic.
I've done everything right. Everything. My whole sodding life. All I've done is live my life by the manual. By the manual! What's wrong with you? You stupid, bloody machine! Now, come on, Bess. Pull yourself together and work with me here. Fuck's sake, I thought you liked to bloody well fight!
Okay, let's get to the story now. And there's a lot of shit which I like in Mud and Blood, and there's also a lot of shit which I really don't like in Mud and Blood. So let's just get into it, I guess. So I do like how they've decided to split up the campaign to focus on different points in the war. It's just because that actually makes it feel like an actual case study on World War One rather than just one perspective all the time. But the big disadvantage to that is that it's really hard to get it, invested into these characters because it's just so damn short. Seriously, I finished the fucking story in an hour and 40 minutes. Like, it's so short. I mean, I can probably go to 7-Eleven, get a carton of milk, come back, and the person playing this will probably be finished because it's such a short campaign. But that's not to say the story here isn't a good story. I think Mud and Blood has a pretty decent story. It's got great emotional moments and great set pieces and cutscenes to really have the audience relate with these characters, but like most things, it's not perfect. My main problem in the story is that you feel like a passenger because the majority of the story forces you to just listen to a general who tells you to do shit, and it's just not that engaging in my opinion. The whole time you're just listening to someone who tells you to do shit, and you don't really feel like your own character. That just really turned me off. That also made me really not like the protagonist. I mean, Edward's alright, but he's not that fucking interesting in my opinion. Okay, so I wish that instead of being commanded by a general, the story made you be by yourself, a soldier who's by himself, abandoned by his country, having to make it to safety by himself. And this would have just made the character of Edward a bit more interesting and more emotional and captivating to listen to. But I've shown the story enough, so I'm just gonna get to the good stuff. Okay, let's lightning round this one, because you must have probably heard people already say this, and you already know this, but I love the emotional moments that these stories have, and they're key to getting me invested into the story and characters. I love how instead of romanticizing war and conflict, this game fucking shits on that, and actually provides a realistic take on war and how it's useless and ends in deaths on both fucking sides. I think the pacing in this one is also really good. You never feel like something abrupt has happened, and that just makes the emotional payoffs even better. I mean, I could go on all day, but you probably already heard this from other people, and you already know this, so... in terms of story, the story here is good for a Battlefield game. It's not perfect, but it's good enough to actually enjoy it. Alright, now, let's get to the gameplay here. I think the gameplay in this game is also pretty, the closest to perfect it's ever been in a Battlefield game. I mean, there are things which I don't like, in the campaign, but there are also things I really love. So I'll just be short and brief about this one. In Mud and Blood, I think the introduction with the tank is kind of overused, and it's just a missed opportunity, because it should have been nice and short, but it took me like half an hour to do, which is like a third of the whole campaign of Mud and Blood, and it's just not that good, in my opinion. It's just time consuming, and so DICE, wouldn't it be better if in the middle of the battle I had to leave my tank and be on foot in the battlefield, killing people and stuff like that? Because that will show me the perspective of an ordinary soldier and what it looks like to be in an actual war, with tanks shooting at each other and innocent people dying around you. It really would have meshed well with the theme here and the tone and the message of the game, and shown the player the absolute chaos the war was causing. I get the focus of Mud and Blood is all about how tanks were unreliable, but I just think this is a missed opportunity that I should have explored. Like I said, the gameplay here isn't perfect, but it's the closest I think a Battlefield game has ever been. Also, it's just a really boring thing, just being in tanks, blowing shit up. We don't really get to do stuff. It's just very linear, and it's just, gameplay-wise, it's just not that fun for me. Maybe some people liked it. If you did, we can never be friends, but I respect it. Anyway, so I love the sneak scenes in the game. They perfectly represented the stakes in the atmosphere of a war game. For those who are unaware, there are two ways to play this level. You can rush in with your gun and start gunning everyone down, or you can play it slow and sneak behind everyone and be smart, like I did, except I failed and fucking killed everyone because I'm so bad at sneaking around in these games. Anyway, so try not to get spotted if you're doing the sneak around, because I did get spotted multiple times and I hate myself. And apart from that, the two ways give the player choice. You get a choice. You can run in, kill people, or play it slow. And I think that's just incredible world building, and it really engages me into the gameplay as well. It's a great mixture of them. Something I also liked, and I don't know if this is intentional on DICE's end, but at one point in one of the levels, a couple of mini tanks spawn. I'm just calling them mini tanks because I actually don't know what they're called, and I'm really sorry about that. But so what happened was I couldn't shoot them down because remember, boys, this isn't COD, so I had to use something more explosive. The game didn't tell me what to do here. I had no clue what to do. So I looked around and I found a cannon just sitting there, and I got onto it and I started shooting the tanks down, and to my surprise that actually killed the tanks. Now, what I like about this is the game didn't tell me. I had to figure it out myself, which means that there were probably other ways to do it as well. So that just adds to the non-linear gameplay. It just made me appreciate how complex the world is here. Like, unlike other games where it's just whoever can shoot the most is the best. Again, I want to emphasize how fun and great the gameplay in these campaigns are. I would buy this game solely for the campaign, not even regarding their multiplayer. And that's kind of why I made this video, because I want to convince other people to give Battlefield 1 a try. It is the best Battlefield to date, and DICE took a risk creating a World War I game, and it worked. And ever since then, they haven't been able to pull out the same magic on most people in their new games. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about Mud and Blood. And in conclusion, I think this was one of the better war stories in the entire campaign. I know I didn't go too in depth about the other stories, but I'm way too lazy to do that, and I didn't want to make a video an hour long. So I'm probably just going to split it up. I'm also probably going to be ranking these war stories when I'm done, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, guys, and if you really enjoyed my little rant here, feel free to subscribe. It would really help me and motivate me more. So for now, I'm giving Mud and Blood a solid 8 out of 10. The real letdown here is that I just felt like the main story didn't really explore Edward as much as I'd like it to. The character was really boring, dull. They didn't really say anything apart from he was the chauffeur, and some remarks to his past life. And it just made the ending and the other emotional moments in this game less impactful. Everything else in this is really good there. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.